Well, with drama in my life, one of the things that always stuck out to me was your lyric about how about you going to the basement? Cause,
Yeah, yeah,
cause,
yeah. I can't even think of what that line is.
well,
Uh,
it's talking about like basically in you're in trouble.
yeah, yeah. You go to the basement for the basement. Yeah, yeah, man. That was my way of saying I'll send you to hell. And yeah, I was back in those days. I was in my prime writing and stuff like that was just second nature. That's when I could just come up with something just off the fly. I didn't even need the beat for that. But T Mix, who produced that dude is just one of the best producers in the world, and he actually would rag on that line too, like, dude, what's up with this basement thing, man, and this idiotic tendency and all of that jazz. It was just a lot of stuff I had in my head. I was a big fan of psychology and just mental health and stuff like that. And I always said I have this doctor patient thing going on in my head. So a lot of that stuff that I put in my raps was just related to me want to kind of develop my own language, but kind of um, you know, it was reflective of the way I wanted to just be different. So I could say I'll shoot you and you go to hell, but I said nah, I send you to the basement, you
Yeah.
know, of life.
And it's the thing too that a lot of Chicago artists, and I think you guys were probably chief among them, was being really willing to explore a darker dimension. Because
Yeah,
it, like you said, it's one thing that yeah, I'll shoot you or whatever or beat you up. It's another
yeah,
thing to say I'm gonna put you in the basement. It's
yeah,
like it's a different way of looking at what you could do to somebody.
yeah,
So
yeah.
uh psychologically or creatively, where does that level of it come from though?
Yeah. I think just wanting to set ourselves apart. And I was a kid that dealt with depression and anxiety and all of that kind of stuff back in those days. And um, writing and rapping was my therapy. And, and this was around the time of, horrorcore, if anybody remembers that, and just kind of the peak of gangster rap in general. And it was really about, wanting to be different. We considered ourselves to be hardcore rappers, but that dark element of, let's go dark, mentally, and that became like the overarching theme of psychodrama. We wanted to play off of the idea of mental health and dealing with dark forces and subconscious and stuff like that. So a mixture of that with just wanting to be different. That's how all of that stuff kind of developed, man. It was like we could say this, but what if we said it like this? Let's take this simple idea, but let's say it differently. So we get the same message, but people will notice that, oh, that's what he's saying. It was just about that unique element, wanting to be unique.
Hmm. I'd say it worked. I'd say it
Yeah,
worked.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And with been done some shit too. That one is another, I'd say, song or phrase or what have you that's kind of led through, and even the Cameron Adrenaline Rush. You had mentioned that several years later.
Yeah.
Um, so, what was the difference of being on Pure Uncut and Drama in My Life versus Been Done Some Shit? Because that's a song with you guys by yourself.
Yeah.
Did fans or people did what was the interaction with, like, with the fans or just people in the industry or the game doing a solo song versus being on a song with 8 Ball or being on a song with Mystical and No Limit?
Yeah, it was gigantic, man. We got so much love for that. And ironically, Been and Done Some Shit was a song that we had for years. Like we had the idea for been done some shit, probably since we created Magic and Do What You Want to Do during that time. Like that was one of the original ideas that we had. I believe we probably only had like the hook that I been done some shit. It was a pass around to each other. You say 3 words, I say 3 words, I say 3 words. And it became like that. So when I believe on our demo to Suave House, we had another version of Been Done Some Shit. And Tony Draper was just like, dude, this is ridiculous. And then T-Mix made another beat for it and we re-recorded it. And you know, people just responded to it. They showed us mad love, but it gave us that confidence that, you know that we could stand on our own. And it was a good way because we had that full album on the way. So that just gave us momentum to know. And I think that's what Tony Draper was doing as well, just kind of testing the waters to see how people would respond to us without the big names supporting us. And Been Done Some Shit, it shine, man. We got love. And still to this day, you know, cats from everywhere bring that up, and like that's one of their favorite joints
Yeah.
from that album.
Yeah. And one of the more unexpected, at least to me, things that you did at the time was the A+ collaboration with the Staggering and Stuttering.
Yeah.
So, because knowing who he was before his album dropped, but then hearing that song, it was a very non-expected / unnatural collaboration. So why did that end up happening?
Yeah, it's funny. I had met Tony Draper. I hung out with Tony Draper all the time. You know, when we were at Suave House, and one evening we were hooping, and he brought over I think his name is Kadar from Kadar Entertainment, and I think A+ was in that on that roster, and Draper just came to me and was like, man, I want you to do this song, you know, put together an idea for this kid, you know. And then I went and wrote my verse, and then Cy went and wrote his, and we ended up just kind of playing around in the studio with T-Mix.
Around this time, because getting with Kadar Maskerberg, A+, in addition to the Suave House community, you were getting exposed to a lot of other people, a lot of other labels, different things. So do you remember somebody outside of that circle that really gravitated toward you, that kind of surprised you or was unexpected?
Oh man, a lot of people, man. A lot of people. I would say Bun B and Pimp C more than anybody. They actually stayed down the road from where the Suave House official studio was. And they just showed us so much love, man, and just kind of took us under their wing, and we became brothers. And then, you know, we traveled with A-Ball and MJG. So everybody that they knew, they introduced everybody to us, as, you know. So we met, I met Redman, you know, during that loss process. And like I say, it was just overwhelming because this dude was my idol, one of my idols at the time. So Cube, Coolio, it was just Method Man, P. Diddy. You know, we met all of these guys. We actually, A-Ball, during that lost time, one of his release parties was at the famous Tunnel in New York. And we got to perform on that stage at the Tunnel, and Red Alert and Funk Flex was our DJs. So it was like, and all of those dudes showed us just crazy love, man. And it didn't hurt that Wendy Day was also kind of vouching for us too, because we had never been out there. And literally, that's still my only time I've ever been to New York. This my only time ever going to LA, still to this day, during that time. But a lot of people gravitated towards us and showed us love, man. Industry bigwigs, all the way down to the local artists, you know, showed us much love, man, outside our own crew.
So wait, you've only been to LA once and New York once?
My entire life, man. Yeah, it's a shame.
That's wild.
Yeah. I'm going back soon, though. I'm going back soon this year. This year, I'm coming back.
In the beginning, hip-hop was ruled by the East Coast. Then the West Coast rose to prominence, thanks to gangster rap.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
Hip-hop changed the world. Gangster rap changed the narrative.
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
And then changed the world again.
Cause I'll come and take your life away.
The history of gangster rap features unheard stories, unseen photos and documents, all with exclusive interviews from the founders and players who shaped gangster rap.
I think a real gangster rapper has to scare you a little bit.
The history of gangster rap written by veteran rap journalist Soren Baker. In stores now.
Yo, what up? This is DJ Quick. Be sure to pick up my homeboy Soren Baker's book, The History of Gangster Rap, if you really want to know what we do.